Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 61 of our Local to Global here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, as you can tell from the episode title, we are going to start this episode off very similar to the way we started last episode, except this episode, we're going to be signing the rest of our women's division. Now, did a little bit of work off camera, and I've essentially narrowed all the women that are sort of available in the game. I've kind of shortened or gotten a short list together with the women that I think are the most, either they're kind of the best that's available on a free, that are free from an actual exclusive contract, or we have some really young, talented up-and-comers, such as Air Raid Siren right here. Now, I'm not going to be signing all of them, but what I want to do is essentially go through them all here, and we're going to pick maybe 7 or so. And I want to try and get a decent little mix between, maybe we'll go 3 sort of veteran, really talented workers, and then we'll try and go maybe 4 sort of younger, but also very talented, that have some sort of potential as well. Now, the first one, we have Air Raid Siren. Already kind of went over her a little bit. As you can see from her stats, she's very, very talented. Very talented. Obviously, the primary skills, pretty well-rounded. Obviously, a little bit more of a high flyer. Very good basics. A little bit lacking in psychology. But I think at 63, she's already at the point of calling about a 12-minute women's match. So that's fine. Entertainment stats aren't great, but they could probably improve with some promo time, some angles. And then the star quality is relatively low. The one sort of downside to her, which I'm not a big fan of. But as you can see, she already has 42 popularity. Of course, she's been with CZCW, I think, from the start of the game. Okay, so she worked for QAW for a little while as well. But as you can see, she walked out on them and has been with CZCW ever since. And of course, they've been on TV for quite some time. So, got a little bit of popularity about her. Anyway, I think we probably will sign Air Raid Siren, I think. She's kind of one of the standouts. Anyway, up next we have Amy St. James. Very similar sort of position for her. Also with CZCW. And as you can see, she's also really, really talented. Probably a little bit more talented, but a little bit less to an extent on her sort of entertainment skills. She also does have lower selling. However, she has higher basics at 96, which is incredible. But it looks like it's actually capped at 95. Good consistency, good safety, 68 psychology, and still improving as well by the looks of it. So that's positive to see. Again, very sort of well-rounded primary skills, although she is kind of a technical wrestler there, as you can see. A little bit worried that that's already capped at 55. That could be a slight problem. And again, she's actually gained a point of star quality over the last year, but she's also kind of in that same position as Air Raid Siren. At relatively low star quality at 51. Again, she also has a little bit of popularity. We probably will sign both of these two. I feel like they could do some decent things. Not sure if I would send them down to developmental. I kind of think that I would maybe want to send the 4 workers down to developmental so they can wrestle each other. And then what we'll do for the TV shows, for the actual, CWC shows, we can just borrow them back up so they're essentially available for our main shows each and every time. And I think that's kind of the smartest way to go about things, really. Anyway, let's move on. Up next, we have Bernice Bonnard. Really like her name. 23-year-old Canadian wrestler. I believe is that Steffi Chi's picture? So I believe she's, I guess, the reincarnation of Steffi Chi. I think it's Steffi Chi. I could probably have a look, but then it would ruin my shortlist. Now, she is kind of the opposite to the last 2 women. Apart from, I guess, the primary skills. Basically, she's also very well-rounded. However, she doesn't have a lot of experience, as you can see down here. Only 6 experience and 2 respect. So she hasn't been working a lot. She's been in the game for 2 years, and as you can see, currently unemployed as well. But she's got relatively good basics, very low, very low psychology, very low stamina as well. Although stamina is not a big issue, because that kind of skyrockets up pretty quick once they're starting to wrestle. And it's likely that these women, the younger ones that we're going to send down to OWC, the developmental, they're all going to probably start to increase in their stats, especially someone like her, like Bernice, who's going to develop very quickly. Now, the big, I guess, positive for her, the big pro, is the 87 star quality. We need stars in our women's division, and we need, well, as you can see from the last two women, there wasn't a lot of star quality between them. They're very talented wrestlers, but they're not stars, and they're not going to essentially be able to get over and to get to those really high levels of popularity. And someone like Bernice Bonnard probably is. So I think we're going to sign her as well. She's also irrepressible, which is one of the sort of best personalities you can get. And I just like her. I like the picture as well, even if it is a sort of re-render or regeneration of a former worker in the game. All right, up next we've got Duplicate, which is an interesting one that she isn't actually employed with anyone, because she is, relatively good. As you can see, really good primary skills there. Again, sort of an all-rounder as well. Happy to see that Puro and Hardcore aren't really used, because they're not used. Good basics, pretty bad psychology at 45, but, that's okay. Really good stamina and athleticism. And then you look down here, 60 star quality. That's probably like the minimum you would have to eventually be like that main event level talent. But she also has really good entertainment skills. 53 microphones, a little on the low side, but she's also only 23 years old. So therefore, it's likely with the 70 charisma, that's probably going to go up into, I would say, maybe the mid 60s, the microphone. So it wouldn't be too bad to deal with. And, some promo time for her would easily get her up. The thing with her is I'm not 100% sold on her. She's a maybe. She's a maybe. I do like her though. Very, very interesting look with the red hair there as well. Not sure if I like the name Duplicate. I kind of like her name, Kate Gillivan. She actually went to college in Canada. That's the first time I'm actually reading that. And she was trained at the Dragon Academy. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Up next, we've got Edna Berkman, Hispanic American female wrestler. 24 years old. Same sort of boat, to be fair, as Bernice. They're very, very similar in the way their stats look. Obviously, the 90 star quality is a big turnaround for her, a big positive, and the 71 basics as well. But then you look at the downside. So obviously psychology, stamina, same as Bernice. However, she has the complete opposite personality to Bernice Bonnard, and she is a bully. So if we signed her, we'd be taking a risk that might sort of be unnecessary to a certain extent, where we wouldn't actually need a personality of her, her type to be in our company and essentially cause problems backstage. So she's also in the maybe category. Really talented, man. If she had a little bit of just a normal sort of personality, not even a positive one, I would probably sign her in a heartbeat. Just unfortunate. Really unfortunate. Anyway, we then move into Ellie DeGrazia. I like her. She's got good popularity. She actually works for both CZCW and QAW. So we're probably going to have a bit of a problem on our hands if we decide to sign her. But yeah, like I said, 24. And as you can see, for a 24-year-old, also really, really good. 76 basics, really good consistency. 74 psychology, which is massive. I'm assuming... I mean, she's been gaining psychology like a house on fire, really. Like essentially 1 point every 2 months. And the last 2 months, she's gone up 1 point in each of them, or 3 months, really. Very interesting. Really good brawling, really good technical, but all around, pretty talented. Again, the only downside is the star quality. I guess the entertainment stats are pretty low there as well. Much more of a wrestling talent than an entertainer, I guess. She's also in the maybe. And I only say that because like we can't be signing too many women with this low star quality because we're going to run into problems where they're not getting over, and I don't really want to deal with that issue if I'm being honest. A few of them are okay because obviously you're probably going to need some women to kind of do the job every now and then, sort of like mid card talents that the main eventers are going to benefit from. And she's probably one of those at best, I would say. Very talented worker in the ring, but not a lot else, to be honest. I do like her though. Anyway, up next we have Erin Gray. Now, she is probably the standout in my opinion. Actually, there might be one more, but she is the standout in my opinion, or at least the top two for, the younger women. Erin Gray, 25 years old, American, as you can see, working for both ACPW, one of our rivals, and then also QAW over in America as well. Really good popularity, 53 in Ontario there. And then you look at her stats, and like I said, she does have a kind of negative personality as well. She's unpredictable, but that's not anywhere near as bad as a bully, for example. So that's acceptable. We'll take that. Take it with a grain of salt, but we'll take it anyway. But yeah, 78 basics, good selling, good consistency, 60 brawling, 64 technical, and then 53 aerial, 54 flashiness. A little bit low on the psychology, but again with her, I mean, with the matches she's sort of competing in, she's still improving quite a bit. 2 points, 1 point nearly every month. And hopefully that would sort of continue if we did indeed put her down in that developmental, but still bringing her up for at least a pre-show or a TV show match each and every week. But yeah, apart from that, 62 star quality. Like I said, that's kind of the minimum you need for like a main event talent. Even still, it's for a main event talent to have 62. It's still a little bit of an ask. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I do really like her. 72 charisma there, 56 on the microphone as well. Pretty good entertainment stats. They're good enough, basically. And at 25, I think she's another one of our definites. So at the moment, I mean, it kind of seems like I want to sign 5 of them, because we got Air Raid Siren, Amy St. James, Bernice Bonner, and then Erin Gray in there as well. All right, we then get into a pretty familiar face. If you watched the Val Pro series, of course, our women's only company, didn't last too many episodes, but we had a little bit of fun with it in the meantime as a short series that didn't really have a lot of long-term prosperity, in my opinion. But here we are, back with our stalwart talent in that series, Etsuko Ariyoshi. Just look at her in this game. If we had stuck with Val Pro, this is what she would have turned out into. Now, she was already really, really good. But the thing with her is, we won't actually be able to sign her on an exclusive written contract. However, you can obviously sign her to a handshake deal. That's because she is a true born coming from the 5-star dojo over in Japan. She also works for EWA, which is over in Europe, where she's the current women's champion. But basically, you look at her stats, she's only 35, so I guess maybe she'll be in time decline fairly soon. 66 star quality, again, not the best in the world, but still pretty good. And then 87 technical ability. Just look at that. That's almost out of this world. That's better than most of our men, in regards to primary skills. Throw in the 94 basics, 84 psychology there. But yeah, passes on knowledge. So she could essentially be a mentor to maybe some of our younger women. Not sure how that would work with them being down in developmental. I'm assuming it wouldn't probably work. They wouldn't actually sort of pick up that relationship. But I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe we could bring someone up every now and then and have them stay on the roster for a month or two before we send them back down. And, who knows? Potentially over the course of that month or two, they might actually become a protege to Etsuko. Not 100% sure if I'm going to sign her yet either. She does have a professional personality. But yeah, it's up in the air. We'll make the decision in this episode. The tough thing is, between her and the other sort of Japanese worker that I would like to bring in, neither of them have any good popularity in Canada, and that's going to be a real big problem. I'm assuming Etsuko can speak Yeah, she can speak fluent English, so that's actually a pretty big benefit as well. But the next worker we have is Yuka Higa. Now, a lot of people would say she's probably the best, well, one of the best. I would say probably the best women's worker in the game. She is 34 years old, so obviously getting on a little bit now, as we are 4 years into the game. You look at her stats, absolutely, absolutely incredible. Entertainment's incredible, 92 star quality. I mean, the fundamentals, like when you see all the blues there, with the 92 basics, you know they're going to be a good worker. Don't even look at the primary skills. They are unreal. 82 brawling, 92 technical, so 5 points higher than Itsuko. But then she's also got 70 aerial, 73 flashiness, and 85 psychology. Yeah, she's a troublemaker. She's always been a sort of bad presence in the backstage area for every company. And again, as you can see down here, literally a backstage trouble in the news headlines. She does have she has 11 popularity in Ontario, which is as good as 0, really. Now, I'm not sure how we work with her, to be honest. I'm thinking maybe the best thing to do... Now, we could actually just go in and sign her, because she doesn't have any loyalty to 5-star. But obviously, 5-star would probably come in with a contract offer. And she would probably be pretty expensive as well. Sort of based on her popularity. She's 87 in Kansai, so you would definitely think that, 5-star are not going to want to let one of their top talents get away from them. Undecided. With her, I'm kind of thinking maybe we go like sporadic handshake deals, maybe for like 5 appearances at a time. Actually, let's have a look. You can do months, can you? Can't you? Maybe we just go like 3-month contracts for her. Yeah, I'm thinking 3-month contracts might be a decent little idea. I'm assuming that she would work for us before 5-star. You would have to assume, because I'm thinking that we're probably ahead of 5-star. Where are we? 5. So they're 18th, and we are currently ranked 8th, I think. 7th. We're actually 7th. There we go. So I think, based on that, she would probably work our dates first, I think. I think even if we gave her a written contract, like a non-exclusive, I believe that she would work for us first as well, even if we weren't. As you can see, it's going to be expensive. It's pretty funny. It would only be 3,400 per month or 2,100 per show. I guess based on that, you'd probably want to get her on a monthly contract for sure. But yeah, I'm not 100%. I'm 100% certain we're going to bring her in. Just not 100% certain on how we're going to bring her in. Maybe we don't bring her in from the start. Maybe that's a good idea. Because she would be tough to get over. Well, I say that. She's not going to be that tough due to the star quality and how, bloody good she is. But the low pop does suck a little bit. And I think we'd probably have to maybe book her like a Asuka sort of run. Hannah, just have her be undefeated and just absolutely destroy everybody. Anyway, we move on to Joella Leon, and this was one of the women we saw, I think it was last episode actually. She popped up in a processing screen, and I like the look of her. She's only 20 years old, sort of got the ginger hair as well. She could actually, where is she? Her and Duplicate might be a decent little tag team. Call them the Fiery Redheads or something like that. Either way, Joella, she doesn't look too bad. As you can see, got the good star quality, which is something we need pretty badly. She's also got 67 technical, which is probably good enough to get her over in the ring, along with the 35 brawling. That'll improve. The downside is obviously the basics. Psychology is actually better than the basics, which is kind of strange to an extent. You would normally expect it to be the other way around. I'm not going to complain because obviously psychology is a lot harder to get up than basics. The selling also sucks. Kind of all the fundamentals aren't really there. But you know what? That is perfect for a developmental company because they rise real quick, and that's the perfect sort of environment for a 20-year-old with only 1 year of experience. Now, he also has really good stamina there and athleticism, good resilience as well, so hopefully no injuries. And yeah, to be fair, the entertainment stats aren't terrible either. 44 charisma, 44 mic, and 40 acting. They could definitely rise with some angle time as well. I'm wondering if we give the women lots of angle time on the pre-show. I don't really do angles on the pre-show, but I feel like that would be a good way to actually train some of these women and get them better with their entertainment stats, because they are going to need it. We do favor sort of popularity and entertainment a little bit, I think slightly higher than the match quality for our product. Either way, I do like Joella. We'll be signing her, but she will likely just be staying down in OWC for a while. I don't really see the point in bringing her up too much because her matches are going to be really bad. Let's be real. With the 38 basics, 30 selling, and the consistency, she's going to be off her game pretty much every time. We'll keep her down there where it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she injures people down there either. To an extent, obviously, she'll be working with a lot of the women we're going to try and borrow to use for the main show, but I like her. I like her a lot, and she'll be coming in, at least for the developmental. Up next, we've got Laura Hollins. Not too sure whose picture that is, but she is another sort of regenerated worker. I do like the look of her, though. I like that picture a lot. And as you can see, she is relatively talented. Doesn't have a great personality, being sleazy, but I like the fundamentals. Always important. Obviously, she's only young, 24. Psychology is obviously bad. The 43 brawling is all she's got in the primaries. So I'm not sure if we should be bringing her in. I mean, she's a brawler, but at the same time, a little bit worrying, to be honest. Relatively good entertainment stats. 62 star quality there as well. Again, with her, it's a maybe. Undecided. I do like the look, just don't like all of the stats. Like I said, the fundamentals are good, but there's not too much else to sort of write home about with her. Like the name as well, though, Laura Hollins. Anyway, up next, we've got Marion Hill, who is a 26-year-old Canadian worker or wrestler. She's an interesting one. She's really bad. She's really bad, but you know what? Who doesn't love a project? Marion could be that project for us. 29 psychology, 32 basics, and 28 selling there. She's a high flyer. I put her on here kind of just for the fact that she is Canadian and she also came through the House of Stone. I want to know what you guys think. Should we sign Marion Hill down to the developmental basically as a project, just to kind of see what happens? That's the thought process behind it anyway. She did actually work for a company, UCW. I think they closed down. Maybe not. But I think they are a Canadian company as well. That's interesting. She might have actually been worse than she is right now, which is interesting. Anyway, she does have a really nice picture there. Obviously, the blonde, beautiful Canadian girl you would expect. Well, I would expect maybe without really ever... Well, I've never been to Canada before, so I have no idea. There's beautiful blonde women everywhere in the world, isn't there? Anyway, up next, we've got Mellow Flashheart, American Bombshell. Now, this one's an interesting one as well. More suited to the entertainment style, as you can see. I mean, she is literally, it says there, entertainer. She's got a lively personality. Apparently, she's a motor mouth, a TV actor, and is obviously not going to play any stunts. She's also a comedy match worker, but I mean, we don't really have to worry about that. Now, she's got 35s in a lot of these primary skills, which is good. Flashiness slightly lower. That's not terrible for a 23-year-old. 46 basics is okay. Not too bad, especially considering she is much more of an entertainer. But she also has 53 psychology that has not improved. Now, I don't want to say that that's a worrying sign and that that's her maximum sort of capped psychology. But it could be. But she also hasn't worked. So we need to sort of have that in mind. I don't think she's worked. Yeah, as you can see, she's basically just been doing independent shows. She looks pretty good. She looks good. It would be good to have an entertainer in the company as well. So maybe I'm going to sign her to OWC to sort of partner, Bernice and potentially Joella. Well, we're going to get Joella as well. So there's potentially 3 that are going to stay down in OWC, at least until they get to a bit of a better level. Anyway, up next we've got Modesty Pedor. Interesting look on her. Very similar, I feel like, to this sort of render there. Actually, no, it's probably Ellie more. Yeah. They all kind of look fairly similar, but obviously different facial features. But she's pretty good. Lacking a lot in psychology at 55 when compared to sort of the rest of her skills. Really good stamina, decent sort of fundamentals. Pretty high primaries across the board as well. Lacking in hardcore, which is what we want. Not terrible entertainment skills either, and 62 star quality. I like her. She could be maybe a main event, or not main event talent, maybe in the future, but maybe a main roster talent from the get-go, potentially. Lacking a little bit of, popularity, and she was recently let go of, or left, well, nearly a year ago from QAW. All right, up next we've got Nan Boucher, Boucher. We'll go with Boucher. She's an interesting one. She's also a 23-year-old Canadian, so, we want to bring in some Canadian women as well. But she's really good, and her downside is she is a troublemaker, so another sort of negative personality. 73 brawling, though, 73 basics. Obviously really low psychology, just with 2 years experience, but really good stamina, athleticism as well. And 73 star quality. Pretty good entertainment stats as well, which is kind of, everything about her is pretty good. I'm just really hating her personality. It's such a downside. Really is. She's a maybe. She's a maybe. Anyway, the next one is Penny Dreadful. Now, you might look at Penny and you might make a very quick sort of association to where she can fit in on our roster. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, it could be a very decent way of implementing her into a stable straight away, where she would likely be used quite a bit, quite heavily. Now, if we look at her stats, she's obviously not the best in the world. However, the star quality is acceptable. And she's actually, I guess, gained a little bit of star quality as well. Everything else kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. The 55 basics is kind of good enough. 62 stamina, good enough. Entertainment stats are 0, kind of non-existent. We're not going to get her to a level where she's going to be able to cut promos. However, we could always have someone cutting a promo for her. Again, make that association with what I've, I guess, not really given away. But 45 brawling, good enough, I guess, in the ring as, to be a brawler. The flashiness might get up there as well, who knows. But psychology, obviously lacking. Selling, obviously lacking as well. But she's a professional, so it kind of works. And as you can see, she plays the mysterious occult well. So we know what her gimmick's probably going to be. Anyway, she'll come in, go down to OWC, at least for the beginning, and we'll find some way to implement her on the main roster once she, I guess, improves a little bit. Up next, we've probably got 2, I guess, main roster workers. We've got Selena Svelte. It's probably Svelte. As you can see, she's very, very talented. 29-year-old Canadian. We love the Canadians. Going to bring her in. Really good technical, but pretty good all around. Good basics, really good psychology, good stamina. Star quality is a little bit lower, but she's great. Selena will come into the company. We'll sign her up to I think to an exclusive written contract for 10 years, to be honest, because she could easily be one of our top talents. And then partnering her is going to be her literal tag team partner, Taylor Quinzel. Now, Taylor, didn't mean to click that. She's also really, really good. Probably better. Well, she's definitely better. And as you can see, 91 basics, 75 brawling, also 77 technical, but the 87 psychology has actually improved, is pretty immense. Now, she's got 74 star quality and really good entertainment stats as well. 76 stamina, not the greatest in the world, but again, the women are likely only going to be having short matches. We might give them longer matches on the pay-per-views and stuff like that, the 20-minute matches or 16. But we'll have to wait and see how we go and how they respond to it as well. Anyway, they actually are the Uprising, and they're the current 5-star tag team champions, which I thought is very funny. And obviously 1 Canadian and 1 American. So there we go. And it's also a ready-made tag team as well. And our final worker on the shortlist here is another Canadian worker, and that is Yvonne Eriks. Now, she actually comes into the game. She's not a generated worker. She's really good. Really, really good. She's currently with ACPW, and it looks like they've been training her up pretty good. Still pretty low on the psychology, which doesn't seem to have improved very much over the last year. But good entertainment stats, 60 star quality, which is, like I said, the minimum for a sort of main event level talent or push. But good basics. Selling's going to get up there, hopefully. But the 66 brawling and the 61 flashiness is kind of the big selling point. Obviously, having a flashy striker is going to be good. And at 22 years old, it's hard to go past her, really. And I would say she probably has one of, if not the best potential out of everyone else on the roster. And I only say that because she is literally only 22 years old. And yeah, she's a professional personality as well. What more could I ask for? We're going to be signing her. She'll be in OWC, but she'll be with Air Raid Siren, Amy St. James, and they'll be brought up and borrowed for pretty much every show. So yeah, let's start signing. Now, I'm pretty much just going to go for exclusive written contracts on the young workers for 10 years. I don't see why I wouldn't do that, to be honest. Kind of makes the most sense. And they're only going to cost us 15,000 each. So to get those all ironclad locked in is going to be very, very cheap for at least for the beginnings of our women's division. Like I said, we're already signing. What's her name? I've completely forgotten her name. It is Deborah. Yeah, Deborah Young. So we're signing Deb. She's going to be really good as the, I guess, first champion potentially, and she's really going to carry our division forward as well. Not sure when we'll implement the actual title belt. I did kind of have a bit of a game plan. What I wanted to do to, I guess, first implement them is to have a sort of high-level exhibition match where the fans, maybe at the pay-per-view, it's not announced. However, it's thrown onto the main show, and the women go out there, put on a really good match, and the men the fans, I guess, start to take notice of the women, and they then sort of maybe petition the coalition for a fully fledged women's division, and then obviously we'll be able to implement that pretty easily. But yeah, Amy St. James, same sort of deal. 10 years, 15,000. I want to try and get these merchandise down to 0 because we could make some decent money. And if they don't really have popularity at the moment, they're likely not going to complain about having 0 merchandise and no travel cover if I'm giving them $15,000 a month. As I'm sure most people would probably take $15,000 a month without saying anything. Duplicate. Part of me wants to sign her. But I think for now we won't. Obviously Edna, I don't think we're going to sign her. I think I have to sign Ellie DeGrazia. She's almost too good to not sign, really. I don't think we'll get her for 0. Apparently she doesn't want to work house shows. Obviously we don't do house shows anyway, so yeah. Interesting. Very interesting, actually. You don't really see that too often. Okay, now because of declining physical abilities, she only wants major TV shows and above. Now the thing with, the women is, I'm not really too worried if they are in time decline or anything like that, or if they're, her head is kind of the reason. She had a herniated spinal disc. She's got good resilience though, so that's interesting. But they're only going to be wrestling for 10 to 12 minutes on a TV show anyway. So it really probably not going to matter too much. Anyway, Erin Gray up next. She will be going down for a little while to OWC, but she's one of the ones that we're going to bring up as well. I'm very impressed with her. Like her look as well. I could see her being a future champion. And luckily, she does have just enough star quality. Also, she is a former tag team partner of Spencer Edmund. That's pretty strange. I wonder, are they dating or anything like that? No. But they are a tag team. Interesting. Alrighty, so we'll get her in as well. Gonna be expensive. I mean, she does have quite a bit of popularity, to be fair. We'll try and get her for 0 as well. She's gonna want nearly 20,000. Wow. Expensive. Alright, and she definitely wants higher merchandise. Alright, 10%. 10% is fine. I'm happy to give that to everybody, but I want to try and undercut them as much as possible. Etsuko, I don't think we're going to bring Etsuko in. As much as I think we probably need her, I think we'll bring Fuyuka Higa in because she is that good. Which means Etsuko's probably going to miss out. And I mean, to be fair, I have already used Etsuko, and we can't actually sign her to an exclusive written contract anyway. So Higa's not going to be signed yet, but will be in the future. And that'll be a pretty big signing as well. Anyway, we've got Joella. Let's get her in as well. 15,000. Like I said, we're literally signing all the women to max 10-year contracts. Well, maybe not the older ones, but all these young ones. I don't think we're going to sign Laura yet. We might come back and sign some more women in the future, and I don't think... Let me know what you guys think, but right now, I'm not going to sign Marion Hill. I need to know what you guys think. Is she worth a, sort of signing just to be our project and to kind of see how she develops? She's also 26, so she's not that young. If she was like 20, I feel like the project signing, like that project that I want to have pretty much in every series I ever do, would be pretty good. But 26, a little bit worrying. Maybe not a lot of developmental sort of work left or potential left. But Mellow Flashheart, we are going to sign her. I do like the look of her, and of course, the entertainment stats is where it's at for her. Real good selling point, I think. But she'll also likely stay down in OWC. We might actually bring her up every now and then, and literally just give her a promo on TV, just to get some popularity built up for her. All right, up next we've got Modesty. I'm not too sure about Modesty. Well, I might come back to her. Nan Boucher. I would love to sign her, man. I really would. But the troublemaker is just the one thing letting her down. It's literally that. Anyway, move on to Penny Dreadful. Like I said, 100%. What a perfect fit for the roster. Gonna be a real good signing. Not for a while though. She's not gonna be implemented onto the main roster for quite some time. Anyway, up next, we're going to sign Selena Svelte. I'm pretty sure it's Svelte. She's going to get a 10-year contract because she's only 29. And then I think we'll give Taylor maybe an 8-year contract because she is 32, I think. Yeah. All right, so there's 15,000 for Selena. And let's go 8 years. For Taylor, she's indeed 32. She also wants 15,000, which is interesting. Might be worth just going 10 years for her as well. Actually, you know what? She's a woman. like I said, the match length doesn't matter. She'll be 42. That's actually not terrible. And she's really, really good. Hopefully she'll pass on knowledge eventually as well. That'd be pretty sick for our women's division. And then finally, last signing is going to be Yvonne Eriks. I feel like we have pretty much a ready-made stable, really, or at least an interesting tag team to be coming out of all these signings. We've signed a lot of sort of redheads or gingers, if you will. And if we sign Yvonne, I might actually sign Duplicate, and then we have maybe a big red tag team or something like that. Obviously, they're not big; they're both small workers, but it could be interesting. Could be interesting. They both literally have like the same color hair, and that color reminds me of Big Red chewing gum for some reason. I don't know why. I haven't even had Big Red since I was probably about 13 or 14 years old. I'm pretty sure I got it from trick or treating Halloween one time, because obviously it's an American chewing gum. But let's get her in as well. I kind of want to change her name though. I don't want it to be Duplicate. I don't like the sort of real gimmicky names like that. I know her gimmick is to, the whole premise behind her character is to to duplicate what her opponent does and to steal their moves. It's kind of her whole shtick. Jeez, I'm speaking way too fast for my own good sometimes. Anyway, there we go. Her name's Kate Gillivan. I might go with Kate Gillivan, or we'll go with I don't know, Kate something else. Because Gillivan's kind of not exactly a great wrestler's name. But anyway, that's going to be it, I think, for now. We've obviously got the shortlist there anyway. But we're 41 minutes in, and we now finally have our full women's division coming in. And of course, we also have Deborah Young, which is coming. She's coming in about 21 days. So realistically, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done it this episode because the women aren't going to feature until... they're actually going to feature for the Warzone pay-per-view, which I guess we could maybe do like a... Yeah, interesting. I'm getting some ideas now that I think about it. We could maybe do like a sort of battle royale for the first ever women's champion. Oh, interesting. Their offer is actually being considered. I guess because of the 10% per event, which I'm happy to match. There we go. We're automatically the better offer. Perfect. Ellie as well. Ellie's got a double bid as well from both CZCW and QAW as well. But yeah, it's literally just going to be the bonus again, probably. It's not what I wanted to do. 10% bonus. And once again, we get the top offer there as well. Who else? Air Raid Siren from CZCW. That goes saying. They're also going 10%. I mean, poor CZCW and QAW were literally taking all their best women's work, female wrestlers. And Erin Gray from ACPW. I knew all these companies were going to come back in. They're actually going with a pretty high offer as well. 19,200 and the 10% as well. Yeah, so we also take better, the best offer out of them because obviously, I'm assuming we have more pull being a higher prestige type company. ACPW, we're actually signing some ACPW women as well. How is that being seriously considered? Just because of the bonus, like that's literally it. Interesting. They're only offering like half of our monthly wage. Ooh, this is where it could get interesting because these girls are very popular in Japan as well. Also, they're current tag team champions for 5-star. That offers quite a bit above what we're currently paying. Let's go 22,000, and then we'll go the 10% bonus as well. Yeah, so we take the better offer there. 7,000 more expensive than I wanted it to be, but you know what? She's likely, you know, the standout of our whole division. Between her, Selena, and Deborah, they're all really, really, really good. Anyway, we've also got Robin DeLay, which is from last episode. And he's also being seriously considered as well, which I find interesting. And, yeah, a little bit frustrating. Because we're already up to 21,000 and 20% per event. So we're going to have to, once again, splash a little bit more cash. Until we get the better offer. Alright, there we go. It was only an extra 2,000, up to 23. Perfect. Alrighty, let's try and get into the episode here and get into the go home show, the first show of the episode. Pretty funny considering, you know, I've been recording for 45 minutes and we haven't even done a show yet. But I'm happy to have sorted out the women's division. And I've given you guys a proper run through of everybody's stats, at least the women we're sort of interested in that are currently available. Now, of course, we're going to go in for the other women as well. Wait, what? Ah, I advanced too many days. Oh, that's real bad. You know what? For them doing that, I'm going to sign for Yukahiga right now to an exclusive written contract for the next 10 years. I know it's my own fault. I shouldn't have advanced, but I didn't think they would go back in for another offer, even though literally every other company has also gone in for another offer. They're also being seriously considered. That's it's really frustrating. Yeah, very strange. Alright, there we go. I mean, all it took was an extra 1,000. We're now top again for Amy St. James. Ellie is also considering her offer, and they've actually gone pretty steep with her offer as well. So we might have to spend a little bit more money. Yeah, see, she's actually not even sort of contemplating our offer. Now she is at 17. But obviously we want to be the winning bid and not have to put up with her potentially re-signing for CZCW. Yeah, I mean, it's getting expensive now, boys. Real expensive. All right, there we go. 21,000. That's an extra 6K onto her monthly wage. Air raid siren as well. Also up to 15,000. Jeez, so it's going to be another Ellie DeGrazia situation. Maybe not as bad. Maybe 20K for air raid. I'm thinking it's probably either 19. Yeah, all right, 19 or 20. And we get her for 19. Not terrible, but also not great. And then finally, Erin Gray. Damn, they are going hard in the paint. They really don't want to lose her. But this one's also going to be pretty expensive for me. All right, but you know, I like Erin Gray, so we're gonna try and keep her in. I think she'll be a really good future champion a little bit down the line. She's really not that far off, you know, being on the main roster for good. All right, so 25. Not terrible, not terrible. She's also really popular, which is, you know, quite beneficial. Yeah, we lose out on Taylor Quinzel though. So, like I said, let's sign for Yukahiga. And we'll advance one day at a time. I mean, 10 years, if we have to sort of delete her contract, it'll be expensive. But you know what? It is what it is. Let's just do it. 15,000. There we go. And like I said, we're only going to advance one day at a time because I don't want them staying with their companies. So anyway, we've got all these other workers here. Selena actually signed for us, which is pretty surprising. Do I want to keep Yvonne up? That's the interesting thing. I don't think we can with her psychology, to be honest. I think it's best we bring her up. Or borrow her up. And there we go. So looking at that, we actually haven't signed too many women for the main roster, really. Alrighty, let's advance. Like I said, let's advance maybe 2 days at a time this go round. I really wanted Taylor Quinzel. I'm happy we got Selena because obviously she's the younger one and she's also the Canadian one, so positive for her. It's also pretty funny that we broke up their tag team as well, and they're the current tag team champions. So, you know, beneficial for us, and obviously pretty terrible for 5-star. Anyway, we got Robin DeLay coming in as well. I think I want him on the main roster. Actually, you know what? Let's try and send him down. I don't think he'll actually go down because he has pretty good popularity. Yeah. We'll put him on the main roster. It's fine. We can definitely find something for him to do, even if it is just pre-show stuff. We got Mello, Flashheart down, and then also Penny Dreadful going down as well. Alright, so Erin Gray, another offer. But it's not being considered, which is perfect. Alright, and for Yukihiga, yeah, they're gonna go hard for this contract. 72,000. I'm going for it, man. I'm going. They stole my best talent away, so for that, I'm going in hard. I'm going in hard. All right, let's just go straight away to 70,000, I guess. 75. Yeah, whatever. Let's do it. Yeah, we got the best offer straight up. All right, anything else? Marshall Dillon, 35-year-old SWF. Pretty good. Definitely pretty good. Don't know if we want to sign him, though. I mean, he's a 6'6" cowboy. Sounds like a pretty good gimmick. But I think we'll take a miss. We've signed way too many people recently. All right, let's see who will start to accept these contract offers. I guess the next round. I'm expecting Erin Gray, Air Raid Siren, Amy St. James, and I think that was it actually. Obviously Fuyukihiga, but all right. So there. Oh, Ellie DeGrazia. There's Ellie and Air Raid. So they're both going down. Oh, never mind. Air Raid's going to stay up then. What about Ellie? Ellie's probably going to want to stay up as well. Now, I can actually still force them to go down if I wanted to. But I think we'll, okay, never mind. We've missed out on Fukuhiga as well. All I did was advance 2 days. Alright, now I'm really pissed off. Because she was going to be... she was going to have such a good storyline when she eventually came in. Obviously, coming in straight away. She was arguably going to have a really good storyline from the get-go as well. 2 days is all I advanced. Alright, from now on I'm going to advance 1 day at a time when I'm negotiating. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah. Let's see if there's anyone else that's still also really good. Go for an 80-80. It's literally Atsuko Ariyoshi, and that's it. Yikes. Alright, yeah. Not good. Not good at all. Alrighty, well, that's all quite unfortunate because we don't really have we have Selena and we have Deborah, and that is basically it for the top of our division. I could sign Etsuko, but you know what? I don't want to be a dick, but I'm a little bit over her from the Valpro series, which is kind of the reason why I wanted to sign for Yukihiga in the first place. Oh man. Unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Anyway, it doesn't matter too much because what's going to happen is other women, from the bigger companies, their contracts are going to start to run out, and we'll be able to sign them. So it's not a massive big problem, but I guess in the short term, it's going to maybe have some negative effects, so to say, or so to speak. But I guess that also means that our younger women are probably going to feature a little bit more, and in turn are likely to get a little bit better, I guess. All right, so Erin Gray still hasn't gone through. Wait, what? How did that happen? I'm really confused. How how have they given her a contract extension if she's already signed an exclusive written contract with us? Like, how is that even a possibility? That just seems really random and a little bit buggy, to be honest. Anyway, we got James Prudence here, who is now very, very old. I'm a fan of James Prudence. I liked him. I liked him back on 2016. I was about to bring him in for my Road to Glory series I had going on with O'Lee back in the day as well. Anyway, let's just get into the go home show. I want to get through these pretty quick. We're already at an hour and we still haven't done a show, but you know what? We've done some other stuff. All right, we've got Laura Catherine Huggins helping to create a fun and relaxed atmosphere backstage. And then we got Zombie Boy, who lifted the locker room when a silly game he created became very popular. Kind of wondering what that game would actually be. Anyway, let's go to Ottawa for the go-home show here. Yeah, I guess Kavanaugh's gone as well, so no meddling, which is fine, but yeah, a little bit frustrating. Anyway, tonight's main event. Obviously, I've had an hour to plan it in my head. It is going to be good that we've got the little male and female toggle button there as well. So it's going to be Mobstar and Maddie Faith taking on, where is he? Logan Wolfsbane and Davis Wayne Newton. This match also has the potential to be our best ever. Now, I don't think it's going to beat the 98, but it could beat a 95, potentially. Anyway, let's have Davis pin. I mean, I guess he's got to pin Maddie Faith. So I guess we could maybe just have this be a draw. Let's go a draw. Because that way nobody's likely to lose any popularity, really. So, go a draw. Then I guess we'll go Tainted. We'll go Tainted. And let's do a double DQ finish. It doesn't really matter too much what it is, to be fair. Anyway, there's the main event. Let's have an angle for Maddie Faith onto the GOAT himself. He'll be off screen. This will be pre-main event, and then I want to have a post-main event angle as well. That is Faith versus GOAT. And then we want to have the post, which will be, I think we'll go Mobstar onto Logan. Just want to see if we can get Mobstar's pop just back up a little bit more. I guess they're both going to be on screen for that one as well. Actually, you know what? I guess we can do both on entertainment as well. Because they're going to go back and forth. It is literally the show before the pay-per-view. There we go. All right. What else? So I guess then, considering what our women's division actually looks like right now, our exhibition match at the next pay-per-view, the day one or the night one show, we're going to do Selena versus Deborah as the exhibition match, and then I guess we can maybe do either a 6-woman match or a 10-woman battle royale or something like that. So I guess determine the first ever champion. I'll try and get a women's title graphic ready to go as well. Anyway, let me go back to this storyline page. I need to kind of reiterate what exactly I'm doing here. That's full. All right, so we got High Flying Hawaiian and Island Boy. So I guess one match we could easily do here is High Flying Hawaiian taking on Kid San Juan. Kind of makes a lot of sense. Obviously being the tag team partner. You know what? We're going to give Kid San Juan the victory. It's going to be tainted. We'll keep High Flying Hawaiian strong as well. But this is just to further along the storyline. It's going to be tainted. Outside interference finish with Island Boy Apollo getting involved and costing High Flying the match. Nice and easy there. Let's go I don't want to go a tag team match for the crew, just to build them up a little bit as well. Let's go for Disciples of Darkness. Actually, no, we'll go Los Hermanos. Go with the Los Hermanos 2, the weakest pairing, and we'll just have the crew come in and absolutely smash them. So we'll give Public Enemy the victory. He doesn't get many wins. I'm always tending to favor Papa Swole. There we go. It can be storytelling as well. All right, up next, let's go for. Let's have Princeton Price take on Chip Martin, I think. Obviously, we haven't actually added the stable. I forgot to do that last episode. Let me go back and do that real quick. As you can see, Next Gen is not there. And I literally forgot to add them in. So Next Gen, and of course, our leader is David Stone. Number 2 can be Angry Gilmore. Number 3 can be Brett Kyle. 4, obviously, Taylor Norton. And number 5 will be his name? Chip Martin. There we go. Don't want to make him the lackey. There's no real point in making him the lackey. Angry Gilmore will be the deputy, and then the other 3 will just be members. Obviously, with Young and Wasted being the tag team of the stable. There is Next Gen. I have to say, it does look like a pretty decent stable, man. That looks like a solid. It's got the, sort of really talented future main event level world champion down the line as well in David Stone, backed up by the deputy in Angry Gilmore, who is the wily old veteran, also kind of the mouthpiece of the whole stable. Got the Young and Wasted tag team, former 2-time tag team champions, and then we do have kind of the young lackey, second generation star in Chip Martin there as well. Anyway, let's have that match. So Chip versus Princeton. Hopefully we'll finally get rid of Princeton Price's morale issues. That would be absolutely ideal at the pay-per-view. Along with Maddie Faith. Yeah, it's all fine. And then one more match. Let's go for... Maybe we have... Because we did the other match with Aldous and Jackpot. Let's just go for Darkstein. Got I changed his name. But Aussie Darkstein taking on Stevie P. And we'll give a victory to Stevie P. But it won't be a... Well, it's going to be a cheap win. So we'll call that cheap win. Let's have it be a Rage DQ finish. Where Darkstein, I guess, kind of snaps, if you will. Alright, so that can go on first. Let's open the show with a Forces of Darkness angle. Who else is in Forces of Darkness? Mutant, Original Sinner, and Zombie Boy. Again, we'll go these 3 rated. It'd be beneficial, I think, having Mutant get some promo time as well. All right, up next, I want to go for David. Maybe David can be joined by Angry Gilmore. Let's actually find out how good this partnership's going to be. So both unscripted. We'll get some success because I will throw in Princeton there off camera. And there we go. All right. Of course, that can advance the Prince Wants the Stones storyline, even though I didn't click it then. All right, there we go. So that'll go before Princeton's match. I got Los Hermanos versus the Crew. Let's go LA Stars. They're our current tour. Yeah, they are the current Coalition Tag Team Champions. So the more we get them in angles, the better off I think they'll be for their title reign. And we've got time for only one more angle with that last, that post main event angle as well. All right, I'm going to lower this by 1 because I just want to have another 8-minute angle. And let's go another interview angle. Actually, let's go for Jurian, and he can interview maybe High Flying Hawaiian before his match. And we will indeed script them both. And I guess they may as well be talking about Island Boy off screen as well, which will give him some success and, of course, advance the storyline. All right, there we go. There's our show. All right, looks pretty good. Let's go pre-show stuff. Let's have Angry Gilmore and Young and Wasted. Where are they? And they're going to team up to take on the Northern Lights and have no idea who's going to team with them. Let's go Matt Hocking. Why not? Alrighty. Just 12 minutes on the pre-show. Nothing too serious. We'll give Taylor the victory. And then we'll do one more pre-show match. And let's have Maddie Faith. Oh, Maddie's wrestling, isn't he? Let's have Spencer Edmund team up with Mainstream Hernandez to take on I don't know, LA Stars? Yeah, I guess LA Stars. I want to have the current tag team champions actually lose this match. You might be wondering why, but it'll make sense. I guess these two, seeing as they win on the pre-show, they can essentially have a tag team title match on the TV show for next episode. Let's go with Spencer, because Spencer has pretty bad momentum now. I don't think we can call just yet. Alright, there we go. No idea which match is actually going to do better on the pre-show, but let's run it. Alright, so we start off with a 70 rated pre-show match. Spencer Edmund and Mainstream Hernandez defeating the LA Stars, current tag team champions, in 11:43 when Spencer Edmund submitted LA Star 1 with an elevated Boston Crab. It's a good match, really good match. LA Star is actually better than the opposing team, which I find interesting. Because I would think that these guys have more popularity. I don't know. Either way. We then move into a 71, so actually the better of the two matches. But we have Next Gen, of course, Gilmore, Kyle, and Norton defeating Matt Hocking and the Northern Lights in 11:50 when Taylor Norton pinned Riddick Jordan with a tumbleweed splash. And unfortunately, Taylor was really off his game. So hopefully he's got that out of the way and he'll be on his game for the pay-per-view. Alrighty, so we then start the show off with a 93 rated angle from Forces of Darkness. And of course, we've got the three main members of the stable here. Of course, Aldous, Aussie, and Mutant. And they're all basically talking about game plans. And of course, Mutant is asking if he's going to be necessary at the pay-per-view to get involved in the tag team match against the Moneymakers for Aldous and Aussie. As you can see, Aldous was very poor and Aussie did not do well. However, Mutant, surprisingly out of the three, did improvise pretty well. Alright, we then go into the opening contest where we get a 75 rated match. We have the big upset where Stephen Parker defeated Aussie Darkstein. I almost said it again. Aussie Darkstein in 12:25 when Aussie got disqualified after going into an attacking rage. So yeah, Darkstein, the darkness has literally taken over his mind, body, and soul. And he is now, for lack of a better term, he's a dark heel. And yeah, the darkness, like I said, it's taken grip. And he's now sort of expressing that, getting himself disqualified. And really, going after and trying to, I guess, injure or just inflict real pain on his opponents. Alrighty, we then move into an 81 rated angle between, I guess, the newly formed, they're not really that new, stable consisting of David Stone and his deputy, Angry Gilmore. Deputy / I guess, mentor for the stable. And they're talking game plan. Kind of Gilmore asks, what are you going to do to beat the sort of cheat to win tactics that Princeton Price would like to, abide by in all of his matches. He's willing to do everything to win, basically. He doesn't care if he cheats. He's calling himself the Prince of the Coalition. And David kind of just says, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm not going to, fall into his game plan or, I guess, for lack of a better term, copy his game plan. I'm going to, keep it clean, keep it decisive, and really go out there and take the match to Princeton Price. Alrighty, we're then going to Princeton's match, getting a 65 rating here, where we have Princeton Price defeating Chip Martin in 10:58 by pinfall with a price check, whatever his finish is called. I don't know. I changed it in the editor, but I don't think it actually changed because I think I didn't. You can't change. I don't think you can change workers. I don't think you can change their movesets in a game. I might be wrong about that, but I honestly have no idea. I tried to change it in the actual editor itself. Anyway. Alright, we then move into a 62 rated angle for the LA Stars, our current tag team champions. And basically they just, talk about how they're the new champs and they're going to do everything, to win without cheating. They don't really talk about cheating, but they're going to make sure that, Papa Swole, Public Enemy, the Crew do not take their tag team titles, of course. I believe it stands at 1 win apiece, 1 win for the LA Stars, and then I believe the Crew got their win back as well. So at the moment, this is kind of the deciding factor, the deciding match in their, I guess, pretty decent little storyline they've had going on with each other. And it's also for the tag team titles, so that's pretty cool as well. Anyway, LA Star 1 working the crowd well, LA Star 2 struggling when going off script. And then we go into a 59 rated tag team match where we have the Crew defeating Los Hermanos 2 in 12:05 when Public Enemy pinned Louise Frost with a tombstone piledriver. Good match, considering it's Los Hermanos too. Alrighty, we then go into a 57, so it's not great. These interview angles aren't the best in the world. But we have Jurian Vanderbroek come out and basically interview High Flying Hawaiian in the middle of the ring. And of course, they're obviously talking about how, himself being High Flying and Island Boy, they're both, the new guys in the company, and they seem to have, I guess, they're kind of trying to overshadow each other as that new shiny toy in the coalition. And High Flying just kind of says, I'm chilled out, I do what I do. Island Boy seems to have a problem, and he's essentially making it, Puerto Rico versus Hawaii, island versus island. And, obviously High Flying Hawaiian's, he's pretty chilled out. He's not really about that type of conflict, really. And he's more just about, winning the match and trying to progress his career. All right, we then go into his match, getting a 69, where we do have another upset, actually. We have Kid San Juan defeating High Flying Hawaiian in 11:37 by pinfall with a moonsault press following interference from Island Boy Apollo. So there we go. Advanced the storyline, but didn't gain it any heat. But a 69 is really good, considering the we actually kept High Flying Hawaiian strong. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Could have been even higher, maybe above a 70. We also have Kid San Juan getting better at his gimmick. Alright, we then go into the pre-main event angle. We have Matty Faith cutting a promo onto the GOAT himself. And he basically says at the pay-per-view, this will be his crowning #1 contender moment, where he defeats the GOAT of the coalition. And, Faith is on his side. He believes that he has what it takes to beat Davis Wayne Newton. And he knows that it's in his destiny to become the unified world champion. The main event does really well. We get a 92. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest, for a TV show main event. But once again, we get the lack of psychology on display. A little bit frustrating to get that again. But I guess that's kind of where we're at this point. But we do have Logan Wolfsbane and Davis Wayne Newton drawing with Mobstar and Matty Faith in 1943, following a double disqualification. Basically, as you'd expect, the match goes on for a long time, and then all four members get in the ring. Obviously, Mobstar attacking Logan, Matty Faith attacking Davis, and the referee loses control of the match, does his count. No one listens, no one cares, and the referee calls it there. But boy, oh boy, do we have some good in-ring performances there to get that 92. We actually had Davis with a 92 in-ring, Mobstar with a 92 in-ring, Logan with a 97, that's Logan, and then we had Matty Faith, I guess, partly due to his morale issues, only an 81 in-ring there from him, but like I said, the morale issues are obviously going to affect that a little bit, so I won't worry about it too much. He also got penalized for inconsistency as well. And the match actually got penalized for low heat from the Faith versus GOAT storyline. So even with one storyline penalty, we still managed to get a 92. And don't forget, Logan versus Mobstar is going to be in a steel cage, so who knows what's going to happen with that. Anyway, we finish off the show with our post-main event angle getting a 100 rating. And of course, you would expect it. Literally Mobstar and Logan going back and forth, a war of words. And Logan says, well, he would hold the title belt above his head and says, you're not getting this back. You had one opportunity to defend your title and you failed to do so. And Logan says, no one's even going to be able to help you. You decided to choose the stipulation to your rematch clause, and you chose wrong, having it in a steel cage. There's no way you can beat me one-on-one. And that's how we end the show. As you can see, Mobstar improvising well throughout the segment, and obviously Logan working the crowd well. Good stuff. Finish the show, we get a 90 rated show, which is crazy. It's a good show rating. Obviously only 3 points away our best away from our best ever TV show and pay-per-view. But once again, we actually didn't increase our popularity in Ontario, which is insane to think, considering that was a 90 rated show. But obviously, everywhere else is going to be looking pretty good. Hopefully, we got the popularity required for Mexico, because that'd be really good to get the pay-per-view deal literally just before the pay-per-view. That would be very good. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick sip of water because I've been talking for quite some time. Alrighty, so finally we have contract negotiations with Erin Gray. Yeah, she doesn't want to go down either, which makes sense because she is, very popular. Anyway, we have Valiant. Valiant's contract is ending. Would he sign? No, we're still too small for him. Not that I really want him too much. I mean, he's actually still pretty good, to be fair. Just that stamina is absolutely atrocious. Real bad. To be fair, actually, all of his other stats, his in-rings, his primaries, they've all fallen as well. I mean, the only one that's not too bad is brawling. But even still, that's dropped 3 points. But then you look at his popularity, and you don't really care about any of what I just said, so... Yeah, anyway. Bowden Snoop has requested be brought onto the main roster. Apparently he thinks OWC is too small for him. I would agree. You know what? I'm going to bring both him and Robin Newman back up, and they're going to be our jobber tag team. Then we have Ed Monton with an opinion. He thinks Chip Martin is a star in the making. The kid could make us some serious money in the future. And then finally we get a 3.67 TV rating now. Very, very good. I think that's up quite a little bit because I don't think we actually broke the 2.7 million, and we're now 55,000 over that for our personal broadcaster. Anyway, so let's do that. Let's bring both. Where are they? Bowden. He's not a champion, is he? No. Recall him. And then let's recall Robin Newman, who is also not a champion. All right. There we go. Let's add them in a team together as well. I'm pretty sure we know that they don't have any negative chemistry because we've used them. You know what? Let's do the job squad. Like that. The JOB squad. Of course, back in WWF, I think it was Al Snow. Actually, I don't remember who the other members were. I definitely know Al Snow was one of them. I think it might have actually been Al Snow's idea. But anyway, so let's go for Bowden and Robin. Two guys that have been with us for a pretty long time, to be fair. There we go, the job squad. Pretty perfect for them, really. Alright, let's just have a quick look at the size. We're up to 80 popularity in Quebec now. I could probably start running shows there, to be fair. But 58 in Alberta, 64 in Saskatchewan. The US is looking pretty good. We're almost getting towards 60 popularity in most of these regions. The only ones that are lacking behind is New England, and then obviously Puerto Rico and Hawaii. But Mexico, we are still only 21 in the third region, so that sucks. I guess we'll have the pay-per-view deal. I guess we can just sign up for it next episode, really. And I guess we'll also have a look around for any other potential pay-per-view deals as well. All right. Kind of curious to see what happens with the developmental matches, because obviously, actually we need to create a women's division, don't we, for the company? I'm wondering if if we have to change the developmental's product, or if it will even allow us to change it. I assume it will. But we should definitely do that and have a look at that. Oh wow. GSW. Oh, looks like GSW are going away. I mean, looking at their popularity, I think we're actually more popular than they are. Could use their popularity in Mexico, although we're only literally 1 point away, so it doesn't really matter too much, does it? Kind of wondering, do they have any workers that I really want? I don't think they do, to be honest. Bradley Blaze, maybe? He's got low star quality. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really seem like anyone, to be fair. I thought Johnny Perez might have been decent enough. I mean, we could always get Max Mayhem. Raven would be an interesting signing. Probably more for her sort of managerial stuff. I guess she'd also be a pretty good road agent. Remy Sky. I mean, Saeed Ali. What about Tavon Blake Jr.? I mean, he looks really good, but that's star quality, man. That is terrible. Yeah, that's real bad. I mean, somehow he's managed to build up popularity, but as you can see, I mean, he's literally gained 3 points in a whole year. Like, that's terrible. Anyway, he's already on the short list. Everyone else is pretty average at best, to be honest. And most of them are going to be sort of hardcore workers as well, which we don't need to worry about. Bret Heartbreak would be a decent signing, though. Although he's not actually active, which is interesting. I kind of felt like he used to be active in every area, if I remember correctly. Not sure if it was 2013 or 2016, but I thought that was a thing. Anyway, apparently, how are WLW able to go in? I guess popularity's sake is probably the reason why. But all these Japanese and Mexican companies are able to offer him contracts. CWA are going in for him. Yeah, I wish I could just like look at it without even like just look at the actual contract offers, because I want to know. I guess I could just do this, couldn't I? Go to Valiant again and let's have a look. How much would he cost us? 413,000. Wow. That's expensive, man. And with all those other companies going in as well, it's likely it's probably closer towards maybe 500,000. All right, so what I want to do, let's have a look at. Okay, sweet, we can do it. All right, women's wrestling. Let's have a medium division. Small. We'll go medium. I don't know what medium actually entails. I'm sure it's. Hopefully they won't sign any more workers. But how many women do we actually have? That's a good question. I should probably know these things. We have 6. That's probably a small division, really. And then product for ourselves. Let's also go a medium division. I know we obviously don't have many workers for a medium, but we're going to bring them up, so I don't know how it works, really. As my chair squeaks. Alright, let's get into it. Let's get into the pay-per-view. We'll book our matches nice and easy. Luckily, I got my match list next to me. Let's put it on to our 3 networks, our 2 pay-per-view providers. And I just messed it up, didn't I? Oh, God. I feel so dirty. I feel so dirty. I'm wondering if I can actually go back to the main screen. I know that's a bit gamey, but that's literally just a mistake from me. No, it saves it. It literally saves it. All right. Well, it looks like we're only going to be on Canada One Choice. I guess this is a special pay-per-view for some reason, only being shown in Canada. No idea why. Just literally my own stupidity and not paying attention. And we've also got events, incidents waiting for us. What do we got? Grace Harper and Angry Gilmore, Wrestlers Court. Positive impact for Grace. All right. Kavanaugh is with Pride Glory. And everybody else is fine. Man, that was so stupid of me. What a setback as well. Because now we're not going to get any popularity in Mexico, which was the whole point. Oh man, I'm actually really frustrated. I wish I had just done our network. If I had done our network, I wouldn't even care about losing the pay-per-view revenue. Because we'd have the coverage in those regions. In the US as well, which were, like I said, very close to 60. Anyway, doesn't really matter too much. It's just silly for popularity growth and for finances, but doesn't really affect anything else, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going to go black screen real quick here, and we will book the main event in the steel cage. It's going to be a cage modern match as well. I prefer the modern over the classic, and I just think it makes things a little bit easier. You know, just more normal to a certain extent. Kind of the word I'm looking for. But here we go. We've got with the 95 popularity of Logan Wolfsbane taking on the 92 popularity of Mobstar. So they've essentially got even higher popularity than they did the first time round, which is pretty incredible. Anyway, here we go. Booked. Done and dusted. There we go. And here you guys are, back again. All right, up next, let's go High Flying Hawaiian. I can't speak tonight for some reason. High Flying Hawaiian taking on Island Boy Apollo. And again, this one's pretty straightforward. You kind of know who's going to win this one. We kind of hyped him up a little bit. And of course, he does have the higher level of popularity. There we go. No involvement by Kid San Juan. I don't think it's really necessary. Up next, we're going to go with the tag team title match. The Crew taking on LA Stars. For the final time, I guess for a little while, probably for a year or so. It's going to be a 12-minute match as well. And let's give LA Star 1 the victory there. It has to be scripted as well. And it will be decisive. Let's go for Doc. Doc can do a little bit of road agency. It's going to be a repetition penalty, but you know what? I don't really care. Don't really care too much. Up next, we got the Canadian title match. We didn't really do anything on the Go Home show for this one. Actually, sorry. Not the Canadian title match. It's a grudge match, if you will. Because obviously Graham Gorman is the current Canadian champion. So yeah, obviously Giant Brody's going to win this one. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, that one as well. Up next, we've got the Northern Lights taking on Young and Wasted. Again, this one also fairly straightforward without, you know, being silly or anything like that. You know what? I'm actually going to make the title match the storytelling match for the pay-per-view. Can't script, unfortunately, either. There we go. There's that one. Let's make this storytelling. All right, nice. Because that's probably going to do pretty bad anyway. Up next, we've got another tag team match. Actually, I'll book the... Let's book the next two singles matches, and then we'll start with... Actually, we'll book one more singles match, and then we'll book the number one contenders match. All right, so let's go for David Stone and Princeton Price. I like this match on paper. Nothing too special. Just more of a storyline for each of them to do something, really. And obviously David's the up-and-coming prodigy, so he will be winning this one indeed. And then we'll go the tag match between the newly formed Disciples of Darkness 6 taking on the Moneymakers. Another 20-minute match, and then we also have another 20-minute match as well. So let's call this one in the ring. Slow build. Actually, I don't think we can... you know what? Let's just do it. Obviously, Stevie P's in time decline, but I won't worry about it too much. And then our first match on the show is #1 contenders match. The GOAT, Davis Wayne Newton, taking on leader of Faith No More, Maddie Faith. And 87 popularity now for Maddie Faith. And you know what? I'm going to go black screen again for this one. Real quick, going to book it out. And you guys will find out who our new #1 contender will be very, very soon. What's my problem here? Alright, RM Stones has too much refereeing to do. And now I've solved the problem. Alright, bring you guys back. There we go. Let's do some angles. Alright, it's going to be a very basic sort of angle show, and we don't have much time, really. I suppose this match can only be 12. It doesn't need to be too long. That gives us, you know, at least 2 more 6-minute angles if we want to do 6. Anyway, let's go Logan. Just by himself, because I mean he literally doesn't need. The storyline is so hot. I think might be at a 100 now. I have no idea if it's actually gained any heat. Oh, it's only at a 95. Oh, okay. So it would have lost a little bit from the 92. I mean, in that case, maybe I do put Mobstar in it, but maybe off screen. Yeah, why not? Why not? Then I want to go a high flying. Actually, who has better entertainment skills? Island Boy or high flying? Ooh, maybe Island Boy. Never mind. High flying Hawaiian does. Actually, you know what? Let's just go both. We'll go both of them. They can have a bit of a back and forth prior to the start of their match. I kind of like that. It works out pretty well. Instead of, you know, they're both the new boys, so in theory they would just be going back and forth about who's going to be better. Obviously, one of them is going to be a little bit more chilled out, and the other one not so much. All right, up next, let's go Gary Walker onto Giant Brody. Actually, let's just go Gary by himself. No, we'll go Brody. We'll go Brody because it might actually increase the storyline heat as well. Let's do that. Nice and easy. Push for Canada. Either way, I'm pretty happy with Gary Walker's angles at the moment. Like, he does seem to be getting in that 80 to 90 range every time. Alright, we only have one more angle left, and I'm not 100% sure which way I go. Do I go Maddie Faith, or do I go Disciples of Darkness? I don't want to go Maddie Faith, but I mean, could Davis get a better... I don't know. See, the thing with Maddie is he does seem to perform on the pay-per-views, but not so much on the... Yeah, not so much on the TV shows. Yeah, there's not a lot of angles on this show. I kind of like it, though. I like just having the you know, mostly matches on the card. Anyway, let's do a couple of pre-show shenanigans here. Let's go Cooper Christie, Jack Jackson, Mainstream Hernandez, and Spencer Edmund to take on Shooting Star Perez, Willie LaRue, Uterus Sono, and Primetime Jack Pride. It can just be 12. Actually, you know what? Let's go 14, and I want them to go all out. And the winner can be Spencer again. There we go. Yeah, Doc can do that, and then we'll get Quincy to referee for the pre-show. Oh, do I want to give the women a debut? Because I feel like they'd actually be kind of upset if I didn't give them a debut on the pre-show here. How many women do we have on our roster right now? We have a few, don't we? We have maybe 4 or 5. Yes, wrestler would be role. We have 5, really. Oh, but they haven't started. So both Selena and Deborah haven't actually started. So we can do a tag team match. Okay. Let's just do a tag team pre-show match for the women. Kind of like that. Let's go Air Raid and Amy taking on Ellie DeGrazia and Erin Gray. So AA versus EE. Simple enough. 12 minutes on the pre-show, and let's give Erin Gray the victory. Like I said, I'm a big fan of hers, and I do see her as our future women's champion at some stage down the line. What's our problem now? Quincy. Okay. I guess for their match, we'll give it to Dace. A little bit unfortunate, but there we go. All right, that'll do us, I think. Actually, you know what? I should probably use everybody, shouldn't I? Let's go Gilmore, Graham, and Patriot taking on Mutant, Sinner, and Zombie Boy. For this one, we'll just go Graham for the victory. I think we can... No. Yeah, we have to call, don't we? Alright, that's fine. And then... And that should probably go there. Anything else? Maybe another 6-man, and we'll just throw whoever else is left. Let's go for Hocking, Zeus, and Chip. We'll get Charlie in there. Take on Chip, John Greed, and Kid San Juan. Alright, there we go. That's a full pre-show, pretty much. Doesn't really get much better than that. Alright, we'll give the win to Zeus. Maybe we'll go Hocking. Hocking doesn't really win a lot, so I feel like that's actually a pretty good idea. Alright, there we go. What is our problem? I guess we've used too much time on the pre-show. There we go. Alright. Let's run the show. Alright, we start off with a 62 rated 6-man tag on the pre-show. Matt Hocking, Zeus Maximilian, and Charlie Corner defeating Chip Martin, John Greed, and Kid San Juan in 9:53 when Matt Hocking pinned Chip Martin with a Hock Shock. Obviously, Chip being the weak link. 62. We then go into the women's first ever women's tag team match in the company. First ever women's match as well, to be fair. And what a positive start. Get a 59 rated tag team match, and we have Ellie DeGrazia and Erin Gray defeating Air Raid Siren and Amy St. James in 11:34 when Erin Gray submitted Amy with a guillotine choke. Really good match. And positively, we've also got, positive chemistry. Excellent chemistry between Ellie and Erin. So, perfect. I mean, for the first ever match, we've already found chemistry, which is perfect. All 4 gimmicks. We've got adequate for Air Raid, adequate for Amy, we've got adequate for Ellie. And then, like I said, my favorite at the moment, Erin Gray, getting a very good initial rating. So, let's have a look at the pros and cons. We've got very marketable gimmick for Air Raid Siren. We've got nothing for Amy, which is good. We've got a large boost to charisma during matches and angles for Ellie DeGrazia. And then oh, come on, man. Luckily, it's actually nothing, which is fine. Because it's an MMA badass gimmick, it's legitimate. She'll be penalized for losing comedy gimmick or to a comedy gimmick or a gimmicky cartoonish gimmick or for taking part in a comedy bout. So that's actually perfectly fine. There's literally no comedy bouts we put on anyway. So do not fret. I saw the red and I panicked a little bit, but everything's fine. All right, the next pre-show match, we get a 71 rated 6-man tag where we have Angry Gilmore, Graham Gorman, and Masked Patriot defeating Forces of Darkness in 11:57 when Graham Gorman pinned Zombie Boy with a Gorman Aghast. Yeah, it's just a really good pre-show match. Solid six-man tag. And the final pre-show match, 8-man tag, getting us a 65 rating here, where we have Cooper Christie, Jack Jackson, Mainstream Hernandez, and Spencer Edmund defeating Shooting Star Perez, Willie LaRue, and Yujiro Sono and Primetime Jack Pride in 14:20 when Spencer Edmund submitted Shooting Star Perez with an elevated Boston Crab. It's an okay match. They're all mid-carders. Maybe not for Mainstream, but everybody else definitely. And yeah, that's the pre-show. Alrighty, so we kick off the pay-per-view with an 86 rated angle, so 1 point higher than Maddie's angle on the go-home show. But of course, he's cutting his promo, again, about his destiny, saying that everybody needs to keep the faith in him. And he will reward them by becoming the #1 contender to the Unified World title. And he will beat the GOAT. I was about to say the Golden Goat, but I said GOAT. The GOAT of the Coalition. For some reason, my speech is terrible tonight. I keep messing up my words. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe that's it. It is now 12:30 a.m. in the morning. Whoa. That is a match. Opening contest for Urban Wasteland 5. We get a 94 rated #1 contenders match where we have Maddie Faith defeating the GOAT himself, Davis Wayne Newton, in 1950 by pinfall with a leap of faith. What a match. And the fact that this match is a 94 and we would have got he got inconsistency and low morale again. Again. Dude, that is insane. This could have been our second best ever match. I think it's now our third, which is still really, really, really good. Soon to be fourth though, when we play the main event. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting maybe a 90, but not a 94. That's pushing it, man. That's really pushing it up there. But anyway, enough about the rating. Maddie Faith is our new #1 contender. He will verse the winner of the Steel Cage main event between Logan and Mobster. So he goes into the first night of the big, war pay-per-views, double header, whatever you want to call it. Big Warzone event. And he will be the challenger on that evening. And of course, on that evening, we're also going to have the Battle Royale to determine the #1 contender for the second night. So, yeah. Okay, we then go into a 90 rated tag team match. What is going on? We have Disciples of Darkness 6, of course, Aussie Darkstein and Aldous Blackfriar defeating the Moneymakers in Jackpot Jordan and Stephen Parker in 1940 when Aldous Blackfriar pinned Stevie P with a Batwing. And we got a 90 rated match out of it. Not to mention, time decline. Yeah, declining physical ability, inconsistency from Stevie P as well. And then we also got inconsistency, surprisingly, from Aldous, which is strange. But it actually got penalized as well for low heat on the storyline as well. That's insane. And it was still a 90 rated match. Okay. We then move into a bit of a lower match, which is okay. Get a 74 rated singles match here where we have David Stone defeating Princeton Price in 20 minutes and 5 seconds by pinfall with a stone cutter. And unfortunately, these two don't seem to click and are made for an awkward bout. So that's now Maddie Faith and Princeton Price that David Stone doesn't have good chemistry with. Arguably, two of our future stars that he has negative chemistry with. So that's actually a bit of a downer, to be honest, because I guess we can never really do storylines with them again. Yeah, that's not great. All right, we then go straight into a tag team match, getting another 74 rating, where we have Young and Wasted defeating the Northern Lights in 12:25 when Brett Kyle pinned Alton Vicious with a shooting star press. Great stuff there from both these teams. Hopefully that's going to really elevate the Northern Lights in popularity. We're probably going to need to give them some sort of angles as well. If their pop's not good enough to have a match and an angle, then we'll probably just give them angles every now and then as well. Alrighty, we then go into another angle on the show. We get a 93, this time from Gary Walker, cutting another, Weasley heel gimmick or heel promo onto Giant Brody. Essentially calling Giant Brody a coward, and says that Gary Walker is going to do everything to re-injure him and put him back on the shelf so Gary can go ahead and challenge or rematch, if you will, for the Canadian title. Work the crowd well, so fair play to Gary Walker. The match does pretty well. I'm happy with an 80. 80's pretty good considering Gary's actually the standout, and I guess Giant Brody's kind of been left in the lurches a little bit with that 2-month injury because his in-ring is a little bit lower. We do have Giant Brody defeating Gary Walker in 11:59 by pinfall with a single-handed chokeslam. Of course, Giant Brody finally getting his hand around the throat of Gary Walker. And you can imagine during the match, he beat the crap out of him as well. Alrighty, we then go into our stinker match on the show. We knew it was going to be pretty bad. Get a 55 rating here. The LA Stars defeating the Crew in 11:39 when LA Star 1 pinned Public Enemy with a double stomp. The LA Stars making their first defense of the CWC Coalition Tag Team titles. Public Enemy the weak link. And as you can see, got the 4th time repetition penalty. I should probably just turn that off, to be honest. It doesn't really need to be there. I don't like the fact that you get penalized. I know it's basically in the game to just stop you from spamming the same match over and over and over again as your main event to, beat the game, essentially. But obviously, this is my series. I'm not going to run it that way. I'm not going to have, back-to-back rematches unless I do a best of 7. But in this scenario, the match probably deserved to be better, and it's for the titles. It kind of makes sense for it to actually be better. Alrighty, we then go into a 68 rated angle between High Flying Hawaiian and Island Boy Apollo. Like I said, basically they're going back and forth about, Hawaii's better, Puerto Rico's better, this and that. I'm the best, newest worker in the company. Island Boy thinks he is. High Flying's chilled. Island Boy looks a little bit frustrated. And they go into their match. And luckily, Island Boy was the only one that actually worked the crowd well. So, a bit surprising from High Flying. But luckily, he didn't get a penalty there either. So, happy days. And the main... Sorry, not the main event. The match between the two. See, I keep I don't know, I'm like... kind of like mind blanking for some reason. Anyway, we get a 77 rated match from these two. We have High Flying Hawaiian defeating Island Boy Apollo, proving that Hawaii is possibly the more dominant island between the two. And of course, High Flying showing that he is the more impressive of the two new workers in the company. And obviously, High Flying was a little bit more popular, so the fans did indeed enjoy his victory that little bit more. And yeah, he defeated Island Boy in 2020 by pinfall with a Pacific Crush. But a very good match and very good in-ring performances. We've got a 74 from High Flying and a 71 there from Island Boy. And we also have High Flying Hawaiian getting better at his gimmick as well. So lots of positives there. And yeah, just good stuff all round, to be fair. Happy with that. Alrighty, we go into the pre-main event angle, getting us a 100 rating. Again, only advancing the segment, but not actually gaining any heat, which is frustrating, but happy to get the 100. That's really going to help the overall show rating. This should be our best ever show, in theory. If this... I really hope this gets a 100 rated match. It's kind of our sort of last opportunity for these two to go at it. Obviously, we'll have more chances for Logan to verse... Well, for Logan or Mobstar to verse Davis, Maddie Faith, and I guess Aldis as well again, because obviously Mobstar's versed him a couple of times. But yeah, Logan with the angle, 100 rated angle. The main event, please be another 100. Okay, it's lower. It's lower. Which is interesting. So we get an 88, which is 10 points lower. I don't understand that, to be honest. How on earth has it gotten a 10 lower rating than the previous contest in a steel cage match? Riddle me that. Anyway, we do have Logan Wolfsbane defeating Mobstar in a cage match in 1950 by submission with a Boston Crab, and Logan Wolfsbane making defense number 1 of the CWC Unified World title. It's a good match, but I expected the 100, or at least another 98. Again, suffered from a lack of psychology. I don't know, man. Should I have scripted them? That might have been an interesting little test. Potentially. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. We got the 98 out of it already. So, like I said, we'll have more opportunities with other people. And we'll see what we can do with them. Anyway, let's have a look at the dirt sheet. I want to see the negatives. So, I guess we got inconsistency for Logan, which is very, very strange. And then penalized for lack of psychology. It's good to see we're actually not getting the penalty for low chemistry on the announce team. So that's positive. They must have gone above low, which is very, very good to see. But obviously, didn't help out this match too much, considering we had low at the last pay-per-view. We still managed to get a 98. Anyway, I guess it had to be the inconsistency, the minus 10 points. Anyway, we finished the show. Yeah, unfortunate, really. We only get an 89, so not even as good as the go-home show there. Which you would have to say is pretty strange. But then again, we didn't really have a lot of angles, and the angles that we did have in the show were not the best. So we had an 86, we had a 93, which is very good. But then we had a 68 rated angle, which is going to drag it down. And then, of course, the main event only being 88, it does make up a fairly large percentage of the overall show rating. I kind of wish that I did Maddie Faith versus Davis as the main event now, I'm not going to lie. Anyway, speeches, we need to go for Maddie. We need to go for Princeton. And you know what? Let's just go for Davis because he's the GOAT. I'm gonna give him a hug. Why not? He's my boy. We've loved him for a long time, haven't we? Alright, well that was a little bit of a letdown. I'm not gonna lie. The 88, kind of threw me off a little bit. And then obviously the fact that I decided to just put the pay-per-view onto Canada One Choice with a bit of a misclick and saved it. Also pretty frustrating. Anyway, yeah, Warwick good. He's now left SWF. I don't think we're going to sign him. His head health, as you can see, only 37, which was the reason why he only wanted to appear on certain shows. He's pretty good, But at the same time, he's also prickly and has a temper, so we also don't want to sign people that are going to be like that. Anyway, we only got 150,000 viewers, which is terrible. And a 0.30 pay-per-view buy rate. Oh, man. What have I done? What have I done? Anyway, the finances are looking good. Well, they potentially will after the advance. I think I want to save a little bit of money up now because we've of course signed a lot of people recently, and I want to sign a lot more talented women once they become available. So yeah. Oh, I should have gone for Giant Brody. That would have been smart instead of Davis, but it's fine. I mean, Maddie Faith still has morale issues, man. And Princeton also still has morale issues as well. Really frustrating. Because he's now the #1 contender. He's going to take on Logan in that next episode. Anyway, let's advance one day, check the finances, and we'll check some popularity as well. I mean, we're over 2 hours now, which is crazy. I think this is the longest ever episode. Kind of expected, considering we've essentially implemented a full new division into the company with essentially 6 workers on the main roster. And I think, was it 8? I think we signed 8 to the developmental. Or was it 6? I think it was 6. It was 6 to the development. Yeah. So it's 6 and 6, basically. And we can always bring up, maybe 4 of the developmental girls and have them come up. And then we'd obviously have 10 in our division. Jay Cord, Wrestler of the Year so far. Company of the Year, SWF. Team of the Year, Rocky Golden, Spencer Spade. Match of the Year, SWF. Show of the Year, Burning Hammer. Ooh, Young Wrestler of the Year, going to David Stone. Okay, that'd be nice to win, even though most of this year he's actually been with CWA. Veteran worker going, well, so far is Sammy Back. Female wrestler Brooke Tyler, that's pretty straightforward. Independent is Maya, which is interesting. I really wish she was active in Canada. I know I could ask her and she would probably accept it, but there's no real point in doing that. Anyway, another pay rise request, this time from Stan Manner's tag team partner, Rock and Ryan Turner. Of course, we got Stan earlier in the episode. And we made over $2 million that month. And as you can see, we lost about 3.7 due to miscellaneous and tax costs as well, which is absolutely insane. But I would like to try and stack up a bit more money. And then, of course, we can start to invest our money as well. Because I want to start doing these other regions as well and getting them potentially up to medium coverage. So then we can leave on them and go for bigger commercial deals for maybe like Canada and the US. Kind of my game plan. Anyway, let's quickly check some popularity here. David Stone at 71, which unfortunately is exactly the same, so didn't really gain anything there. Davis is at 84, which I believe he already was at. Yeah, I think he got there earlier in the month. Who else have we got? I mean, High Flying Hawaiian, I think, gained maybe 1 point, so that's not terrible. Yeah, not terrible. Who else have we got? Logan, yeah, still at 95, but he's actually pretty much all the rest of his other stats or other popularity regions or areas are all above 90 now, except for Maritimes and Puerto Rico and Hawaii. So you could essentially use him anywhere and he would be over. Maddie Faith is still at 87, which is unfortunate because that was a good match. That was a really good match that he had. And I was kind of hoping, hopefully he's not locked. That would suck. Excuse me. All right, Mobstar, still at 92, which is really good. and I just exited out. But yeah, he's still at 92, which is positive. Darkstein at 80 still, which is unfortunate. We'll check all this in a second. Who else we got? What about Spencer? So Spencer's at 49, and he was already at 49. That kind of sucks. I mean, we didn't really... Actually, we kind of made him lose, so the fact that he's still there is actually pretty good. And then the final one, let's go for Aldous, who's now at 94. Wow. $94 there for Aldous Blackfriar. That's very impressive. Okay. Well, that will wrap up the episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you could smash a like on the video if you haven't already, it'd be much appreciated. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, only 55% of you guys are subscribed to the channel that watch these videos. So please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 2K subs. We're just over 1,600 at the moment. So it would be really, really cool to hit that 2K mark in the next sort of 6 months. I think would be really good. And of course, I've also got a new series coming out very, very soon. Or actually, it might already be out, considering when I'm recording this. So yeah, make sure you check that out if you haven't already. It's going to be a real-world sort of TEW rates real life, if you will. Like sort of an experimental series I'm going to be doing. And kind of following the progress of a real-life company and seeing how the game actually rates their booking. Interesting little concept, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. And hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. Or maybe you already have. Anyway, episode 1 might already be out, so go and check for it. Anyway, apart from that, as always, take it easy, and goodbye.